Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio.
KTLK AM 1150, always a treat to be back together with you and with our Coldwell banker, the guru of Coldwell banker, Beth Styne. How do you like that?
The guru, I like that.
The guru. It's not gender specific.
No, although as you were saying it, I was sort of envisioning, I don't know, a long gray hair and a big beard, and I thought that wouldn't be a very good look for me.
I have to admit, I had in my notes here, I was going to describe you a different way, the best in class.
I like that.
And then I thought you would, slog me to the floor for treating you like a dog show or something. I don't know. I got scared. So there you have it. A true professional. Welcome back. This show is themed all about resilience, and really the backdrop to this is what we've all seen, the photo essay, the video essay that's coming out of Oklahoma. And I was just spellbound by some of these photos. Cannot believe, like Beth, you and I were talking earlier today, cannot believe that, and not to minimize it, but that there's only been a couple of dozen.
25 or 26
people that have actually, died in the, and you look at the pictures, the half-mile wide swath of just nothing left but driveways. How can that be?
Complete devastation. It's so, we've seen stories through the years of hurricanes and tornadoes, and it sort of will jump. It hit a house here and a house there, and then you'll see houses that are fine, and, that it'll hit 3 or 4 houses. But this was a half mile or more of complete and utter devastation.
Gone.
Devastating.
Yeah. So we're going to be taking a look at resilience, and I love not the graphic storyline of what they're enduring back in Oklahoma, but as people are rising up from the debris and planting signs, okay, here we go.
Right.
And let's start over, and let's do this, and these signs of encouragement. And I think really that's what I want to hear about resilience as we go through our various guests today. We're going to have some great guests. We've got Alexander Villa coming in from Century 21 Masters and taking a look at buyer mistakes, how to avoid them going in instead of making them and then having that long walk back to the dugout of, our offer wasn't accepted. So we're going to take a look at that.
A lot of that.
We've got Brett Miller. There's very few times at 6'6" that I feel small. And so here I am.
Can you imagine how I feel standing next to him?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. So if you can imagine, as you listen out there, we've got Beth Styne, who's every bit of 5 foot something, and then Brett Miller, 6'8", and then myself, a hearty 6'6", feeling like you do most times, I guess, huh?
You're 6'6".
If I stand up straight, I start the day at 6'6". I finish about 5'9" and slumped over and tired. And 6'6" is where I start. And so we've got Brett Miller coming in to talk to us, share his background in that transition from NFL stardom into now the real estate sector and flourishing in that marketplace. And then in Coach's Corner, the color commentator of the Los Angeles Angels, Victor Rojas, is going to be with us. And then, of course, finishing with Stump the Experts, and then another special look at one of the kids out of Treasures of Africa, our sponsor orphanage down in Moshi, Tanzania. And these kids are just great. You talk about coming out of disastrous environments. It's probably the epicenter of the AIDS pandemic, and these kids find joy, they find cheer, they find happiness. And this whole orphanage, the premise behind it is to build up these people to come back into the community, these kids to come back into the community and be difference makers. So we're going to be taking a look at one of the special kids down there. So kicking this off, we've got our Street Noise segment. And with us on Street Noise, we have who, Beth?
We've got Kevin Cordasco. He's one of our top producers in the Beverly Hills South office. He knows a lot about resilience. But the other thing that's kind of interesting to me is he was a professional soccer player. So a soccer player, football player. We've got the baseball coach, tennis player, a whole lot of testosterone, and me.
Maybe we should walk down the hall to Fox Sports LA.
Hi, Kevin.
Hello, Beth.
Hey, Kevin, thanks for being with us. We're taking a look at this issue of resilience and really just life after the who would have thunk. and that impacts all of us, whether that's in business or in life, our personal lives, our families, and so I just wanted to take a look at that. We have coming out of Oklahoma the disaster with a tornado. Still out of the Midwest, they look at California and say, "How do you live in Southern California with earthquakes?" And I look back at these sirens and the devastation of tornadoes. How do you do that? But bottom line, there's so many examples of life getting in the way, and I just wanted to talk to you about that, about resilience, and maybe hear your perspective.
Well, going back to the earthquake for me, being a kid from New Jersey, where the only thing that was solid that you can be sure of was the ground under your feet, moving to Los Angeles and experiencing the earthquake was a pretty incredible experience for me.
Well, and I think either illustration, I mean, there's no shortage of natural disasters and other disasters, but I think it begs the question, are we ready for them? Should we be ready for them? And when they do occur, what do we do?
It's kind of an interesting thing. In Tornado Alley, which is where Oklahoma is, and you've got Arkansas and a whole host of states, they have a lot of preparation for hurricanes and tornadoes. They've got, my husband calls them scare holes because he's from Oklahoma and Texas, but they have, they've got bunkers, and there's that kind of preparation, and hopefully you have enough notice. I think with earthquakes we don't get that notice. Boom, it's done. And
they're less frequent. I think it's somewhat of a surprise, but the science of tornadoes now, they're with tornado chasers and the National Weather Service, they pick these things up and the possibility of them, and there is some type of early warning, which is why you see when a complete neighborhood for 2 miles is devastated and leveled, you have such a low body count for something like that, which you look at the photos and you would think there's nothing could survive that.
The thing that's so interesting to me is today, the first thing that they did was they put the street signs back up so everybody knew where they were. And that's about, that's picking yourself up and literally dusting yourself off and beginning your life anew and making everything fresh, starting again. You have to. Well,
and I think whatever the example is, it's creating the new normal, and then, just like you said, dusting yourself off, putting one foot in front of the other. I always tell people, and I've faced disaster in my life, and I've always tell people, they ask you, how do you do it? How do you survive what you've had to survive? And I said, you know what? I stand up, I lean far enough forward where I have to take a step or fall, and then you take that step.
Right.
Kevin Cordasco from Coldwell Banker over in Beverly Hills. Thanks for being with us. We'll have you back with us on the show. This segment of Street Noise brought to you by our legal partner, OC Wills and Trust. As we look at resiliency throughout the show, we want you calling us. Give us a shout direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. We'll be right back with Alexander Villa from Century 21 Masters.
Nelson is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Radio, and it's important that we talk about a very serious issue. We had bad lending practices that led to the mortgage meltdown, but now we've got the challenge of deplorable customer service coming out of the meltdown. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Academy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can improve if the market goes down. Purchase transactions with our market-exclusive close-on-time guarantees and refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from your mortgage lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert for nearly 3 decades, direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or at strongcreditrewards.com.